gorgeous people, it's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I fixed those thigh-high boots that I absolutely could not stand. Gave them a big old thumbs down in my most recent video where I reviewed thigh-high boots. These were the black mesh ones, and the problem wasn't the way that they looked. I loved the way that they looked, which is exactly why I bought them. I thought that they would be super sexy, super cute, but when I put them on and I tried to walk in them, the mesh fabric has no give. So I was not able to walk comfortably in the boots. So in the video I did say that I wasn't sure if I was even going to wear the boots. Well, that bothered me because I always try to figure out a way to make everything work. So I figured out a way, so excited, to make these boots work, and I actually love how they turned out. Now I just want to stress, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, well, I liked them before. Well, I would not have altered these boots if they were comfortable to walk in. So since they weren't comfortable for me to walk in, that is why I decided that it would be best for me to alter the boots so that I would actually wear them. That's the point of having shoes, in my opinion. They don't just like sit around looking gorgeous. I want to put them on my feet. So because I did not find these functional, that is why I decided to do this DIY. So I hope that you find this helpful, and without further ado, let's just get into what I did. Okay guys, materials are in the description box below. You're going to start with the boot of your choice. And then you're going to find your center and take your scissors and cut down as far as you want to go. I wanted to go all the way to the bottom because I wanted mine to lace completely up. So I'm cutting mine from the top right down that center to the bottom of the boot, as far as I could go anyway. So once you've done that, you're going to take the sides that you just cut and you're going to fold them over so that you can get them ready to sew, because I didn't want mine to be raw edged. Now if you want yours raw edged, you can skip this part, but I wanted mine to be clean finished. So I'm just adding my pins here, and when I get to the bottom I notice that I'm not able to fold it over all the way, so I just take my scissors and I cut away as much as I need to be able to fold it into place. I'm folding it about a 1/2 inch all the way down the boot there. Now you know, a normal person would measure this, but I'm just winging it here and I'm just folding it over about a 1/2 inch by eyeballing it. But I would suggest, if you want yours to be perfectly even and, you know, the same on both boots, that you measure about a 1/2 inch all the way down so that it's good to go. I'm just not a measure kind of girl. I always just eyeball it. Works out okay for me. I mean, nobody's looking at your clothes that closely, so I just do it this way. But I would suggest, if you want yours to be perfect and proper, that you measure it about a 1/2 inch. So I'm finishing up here, getting to the bottom, just going to cut away what I need, and then I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and sew it together. Now the good thing about this fabric is it is extremely great to work with from a sewing perspective, because you cannot see the seam at all. So you don't know where I hand stitched, because as you get closer to the end, your sewing machine won't feed anymore. You're going to have to hand stitch it. You can't tell where I hand stitched and where was the sewing machine. It was so perfect. I loved it. So now that they're all sewn together, we're ready to move on to the next step. But then I noticed that I had some fraying there, so I'm just going to take a lighter and I'm going to heat seal that down so that it doesn't continue to fray. So now we're going to move on to the shoestrings, and because this is such a long boot, I needed 2 of them, so I'm going to just cut off the ends of 2 of those, heat seal them down together, and then I hand stitched them into place, and I added a button in the center to cover up that seam where I sewed them together. Ready to go. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the grommets. Ugh, this was the worst part of the project, guys. So I'm going to do mine 4 inches apart. Obviously, you're going to start at the bottom there, and I just mark mine with a pin. I don't mess with like markers and all that kind of stuff. I usually just mark mine with pins when I'm doing this type of thing, but you could always use some type of fabric marker or, you know, soap or whatever it is you want to use to mark your spot, but you're going to need to mark it however far you're doing them apart. I did mine 4 inches, but I would suggest 2 inches for this project, but I did not have enough grommets to do them 2 inches apart, so I did mine 4 inches apart. I will probably go back in at a later time and, you know, place the grommets in at that 2 inch mark, but for now I'm just going with the 4 inches so that I can get these boots ready to roll. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to installing the grommets. This was the worst part. So you're going to go ahead and move your pin out of the way and then poke your scissors through where that pin was, making sure that you mark it with your thumb or something so you know where it was. Poke your scissors through. Now you're going to take the smaller part of the grommet, you're going to push it through to the other side. Now as you can see, I had some trouble with this because this fabric was not very forgiving, so I had to cut it away a little bit to push that all the way through, but you don't want your hole to be too big, so that's why I would suggest cutting just a small part and then just working it in as I'm doing until it pushes through just like that. Then you take your bigger end and you put it on top of that smaller end and push it down. So now you're going to take that rubber part that they gave you with your little kit there. You're going to put that on the side that is the outside, like the good side. And then you're going to take your anvil and put it on the inside. Get your hammer and hammer that down into place. This was the easiest part. The hardest part, of course, is poking the hole and getting it through. But hammering these down and securing them into place is the easiest part of this process. And there you go. That one's good to go. You're going to do that all the way down every place you have a pin. So now that I have that done, I'm going to move to the other side, and I just wanted to show you, I'm just like matching them up, and I'm just poking my hole through that existing grommet from the other side. So you really don't need pins to mark the other side. Now that I have all that done, I'm going to go ahead and lace up my boots. So they're pretty much done at this point, guys. I was really glad that I put that button in the center because this is such a long lace. It's really hard to find the center, but it's really easy to find the center with that button in the middle of it because you can't feed that button through the grommets. So that made it actually really easy for me to lace these boots up. So I actually might end up taking that tip and doing it with some of my other boots that have these super long laces because they're not even at the top, but these ones are. So once you lace them up, you are completely done. Perfect, revamped pair of boots. Yes. Okay guys, that was so easy, so simple. The fabric overall was okay to work with in terms of that. The hardest thing, as you saw in the video, was for me to put those grommets in. And honestly, I haven't done that in a little while. So I was just like reteaching myself as I was trying to show you how to do it. As you saw in the video, I did a couple first, and then I decided that, okay, I felt comfortable enough to film me doing it. And then I still had a little bit of trouble because the fabric was a little bit difficult to work with for that part, but sewing them together was a breeze. I mean, you guys could hand stitch this and you wouldn't even be able to see where the stitches were. That's how much I liked working with it in terms of sewing the fabric together. But everything else, like the grommets, that was the hardest part. But it's overall a really easy DIY, and you can do this with a pair of boots that you want to make either more comfortable, or maybe they just need a little pizzazz, so you just want to add some grommets and some shoelaces. Why not? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, like, share, do all those things to help other people find this channel. Thanks so much for stopping by to check this out, and I'll catch you next time. Bye! What's up, gorgeous people? It's Amber. Why did I do that? Structure part of it, you couldn't walk comfortably. My review of my thigh-high boots recently, that didn't had the lace mesh fabric. They were black lace mesh fabric. Why did I do that? What's up, gorgeous people? It's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. And today's what's up? What? Lace, mesh, black. What am I talking about?